Welcome everyone to Gamer Meld. As you can see, this is a talking head video, but don't worry because I should have a normal video tomorrow. Either way, as the leaks told us, Nvidia's GTX 1660 Super has officially been released, and I really do want to talk about it. But really quickly, tomorrow is the last day to get on the next gift for the Gamer Meld Rewards program, which is an older ATI Radeon GPU. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, the Gamer Meld Rewards program is a small gift that I send out every 3 months as a thank you to my $5 patrons who've been patrons for the previous 3 months. If you want to join, simply sign up for the $5 tier at patreon.com/gamermeld. Okay, let's get to the GTX 1660 Super. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a review unit. I still can't get a new Nvidia rep, it seems. Luckily though, we have quite a bit of reviews that give us a pretty good idea of the performance. First, let's talk specs. As you can see, the leaks were completely accurate. The GTX 1660 Super is identical to the original GTX 1660 in every way, except for the fact that the Super has GDDR6 RAM, has the same amount of RAM, just much faster. And it's actually, I will say, the RAM is actually faster than the 1660 Ti. So a bit of an interesting thing. Now, keep in mind that this card is meant to kind of be a stopgap in between the 1660 and 1660 Ti. I know, their naming scheme is really getting out of control, but that's how it works. I personally think they're going to eventually get rid of the 1660 Ti moniker and just run with Super for the upgraded version of the cards. But at the same time, lately they've been releasing their Ti cards right alongside their regular cards, which is really weird. This is supposed to be kind of an upgrade. Okay, it's been a year. It's better now, but nah, we'll just throw them all out there once and we'll give you something called Super later. It's a little bit confusing, but this is what we have right now. Hopefully that will change in the future. When it comes to performance, this is where things get a little crazy. Nvidia's GTX 1660 Super is actually way closer to the 1660 Ti than it is the regular 1660. I think it really goes to show just how important fast RAM actually is to gaming. You can see right here in an 11 game average, which is one reason why I like to go to PC Gamer, though I will be going to other reviews as well. You can see, let's see, that the 1660 Super handily beats the regular 1660. And with the 1660 Ti, it's only a few frames off. So very great performance, right up there with Vega 56. And once again, quite a bit better than the original 1660. We can see right here some very similar results. Don't really look at this. They compared it to the 1650 for some reason, but you can see that it's right next to the 1660 Ti. And whenever we go up here, once again, very similar. Actually, the 1660 Super actually beat it in average benchmarks, though the 99th percentile, it barely lost to the 1660 Ti. And then once again, we see something very similar here, except for the fact that it beats it in both the 99th percentile and average frame rates. And once again, if I do sound kind of sick, I'm still getting over this thing. Hopefully I'm going to completely get over it pretty soon, but I'm still coughing a lot, so I get kind of hoarse. But anyway, let's see. Once again, very similar, 1 frame difference at 1440p, which is probably where a lot of people are going to be playing this. Quite a bit of different games. You can see that this basically is a 1440p gaming card. Next up, we can see at 1080p, the 1660 Super, which on Metro, this is a really good title for AMD's Radeon cards. This is quite a bit cheaper than the 1660 Super, yet the RX 590 is keeping up with it handily, although this is a very rare case. Regardless, the 1660 Super handily beats the 1660. You can tell this should be another card. But at the same time, man, is it just barely losing to the 1660 Ti. I mean, we're talking about 1 frame here compared to the EVGA one. Next, we can go over to Strange Brigade. And once again, we're seeing very similar results. The 1660 Super keeping up, heavily beating the regular 1660 while just barely losing to the 1660 Ti. And keep in mind that the actual CUDA cores are quite a bit less in the 1660 Super, the same amount that they are in the original 1660. The 1660 Ti has quite a bit more CUDA cores, and yet they are keeping up so well. This is Honestly, a bit surprising. I know how important fast RAM can be in gaming, but man, does this really show it. Once again, 3 kings, very similar results, 1660 in a very different league compared to the 1660 Super, although at the same time, this is 1440p, and it's actually pretty low frame rates here, and so 1 frame is more important than quite a few, but even if we go down to 1080p quality, once again, 1660 in a very different league, quite a few frames difference, yet the 1660 Ti is only 1 frame ahead of the 1660 Super. And why all of this is honestly such a pretty big deal is when we come to price. You can see right here on Newegg, this is the EVGA one that I've seen going around quite a bit. It's $230, which is MSRP. So these cards are, at least for the most part, obviously the Zotac one a little bit more, but for the most part, these cards are going for right around MSRP. And why that matters is because for those who don't know, the 1660 Ti is so much more expensive. $280, $310. Many of these are up in the $300 range, nowhere near that $230 range. We're talking about $70 more. Yet the 1660 Super is only around $10, or honestly, how the prices are right now, pretty much right at the same price. I mean, you've got MSIs right here, $230 as the 1660. Now, MSRP wise, it's supposed to be $10 more, but at the same time, the actual difference that we're seeing is basically the exact same price as the 1660. So it performs much closer to the 1660 Ti than it does to the 1660, yet the 1660 Super is priced right at where the 1660 is. Basically, this is a massive jump in value proposition. The one thing that I do at least a little bit wondering what in the world Nvidia is doing, I know that they're trying to compete with AMD's RX 5500 series, but what they've done is completely cannibalized both their 1660 and 1660 Ti. If you are wanting to spend a little bit less, I personally suggest getting the RX 590 just because it is going to be quite a bit less than the 1660, yet it's going to perform right on par with the 1660. Now, probably the one real difference here that somewhat shows some negativity to the 1660 Super is going to be, if we look here, the TDP is actually higher for the 1660 Super than it is the 1660 Ti, and I'm sure that is because of the GDDR6 RAM. Prior to this, the 1660 already had the exact same TDP as the 1660 Ti. Now, before, I swear I almost have someone say this pretty much every single video. I do understand that the TDP is not the actual wattage pulled, but they're very close. They do go hand in hand. I do understand that technically TDP is referencing to the thermal, basically the displacement, how much heat needs to be displaced. But once again, the heat and how much power draw are very, very similar. This isn't telling you how much power it's drawing from the wall, but at the same time, they do go hand in hand. So obviously that is a fairly quick and simple rundown of the new GTX 1660 Super, but all in all, I honestly think this is a great buy. Nvidia upped the performance quite a bit while keeping the price quite a bit lower. It almost completely cannibalizes their 1660 Ti, but at the same time, this is what you have to do to keep up with competition. So anyway, if you're interested in picking up one of those, I'll have a couple links in the description below, so make sure to check those out. And if you liked the video, please subscribe, and as always, have a great day.